The night began like many others in Orange Farm, South Africa. The air was cool and the streets were quiet, with only the occasional sound of distant chatter or a barking dog breaking the silence. A quiet hum of life under a vast African sky, where the stars seemed to whisper secrets of the night. But for Mohalefa Isaac Kanye, a dedicated correctional officer at Sun City Correctional Services, this night would be his last known moment of freedom. He was a man who took pride in his work, known for his unwavering commitment to justice and order. On that fateful evening, Mohalefa stepped out, the glow of his white Mercedes-Benz C200 catching the eye like a beacon in the night. The car, a symbol of his hard-earned success, stood out against the backdrop of the dimly lit street. He was a man of routine, a familiar face in his community. Neighbors would often see him walking through the streets, exchanging pleasantries and offering a reassuring presence. But that night, he vanished into the darkness. The familiar figure, once a pillar of the community, disappeared without a trace. Gone. No trace, no word. The silence of the night seemed to swallow him whole, leaving behind only questions and a growing sense of unease. The hours stretched into an unbearable silence. Where was Mohalefa? The ticking clock in the empty living room marked the passage of time, each second amplifying the family's anxiety. His family, accustomed to his punctuality, felt a chill grip their hearts. They huddled together, their faces etched with worry, as they waited for any sign of his return. Each unanswered call, each unanswered prayer, amplified their growing dread. The phone, once a source of connection, now only served as a reminder of his absence. The man who dedicated his life to upholding justice was now lost to the very shadows he swore to fight. His disappearance cast a long shadow over the community, leaving everyone to wonder what had happened to their steadfast protector. His absence left a void, a question mark etched onto the soul of Orange Farm. The once vibrant community now felt a sense of loss, as if a part of its very essence had been taken away. Days later, a glimmer in the dust. It was a sight that caught the eye, a fleeting moment of brightness in an otherwise bleak landscape. The sun's rays danced on the object, creating a mirage of hope in the dusty field. A flicker of hope, quickly extinguished by the grim reality. The initial excitement gave way to a sinking feeling, as the true nature of the discovery became apparent. The community's collective hearts sank, their hopes dashed in an instant. Mohalefa's prized Mercedes-Benz C200, his symbol of hard work and success, was found abandoned. This car was more than just a vehicle, it was a testament to his perseverance and dreams. Now, it lay forsaken, a stark contrast to the life it once represented. But this was not the car he drove into the night. That night he had driven with purpose, with a destination in mind. The car found in the field was a ghost of that journey, a remnant of a path that led to uncertainty. This once pristine vehicle was now a carcass, stripped bare, its soul ripped out. The sight was haunting, a brutal reminder of the violence that had befallen it. Every missing part told a story of loss and violation. The gleaming white paint was now marred with the fingerprints of violence, a silent testament to a horror unknown. Each smudge and scratch was a mark of the chaos that had ensued, a visual representation of the turmoil that had gripped the community. The discovery sent a shockwave through Orange Farm, a community already grappling with the despair of Mohalefa's disappearance. The news spread like wildfire, igniting fear and sorrow in the hearts of the residents. They had hoped for a miracle, but were met with a nightmare. The sight of his desecrated car was a cruel confirmation of their darkest fears. It was a visual blow, a harsh reality that they could no longer deny. The community stood in stunned silence, their worst suspicions confirmed. It wasn't just a car that had been stripped, it was their sense of security, their belief in order. The vandalism was a direct attack on their peace of mind, a violation that left them feeling exposed and vulnerable. The metallic shell, once a symbol of aspiration, now stood as a grim monument to the lawlessness that threatened to consume them. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of their dreams, a chilling symbol of the chaos that lurked just beneath the surface of their everyday lives. "We just want him home!" pleaded Lerato Kanye, her voice trembling with the strain of sleepless nights and agonizing days. Her eyes, red and swollen from endless tears, reflected the depth of her despair. Each passing moment without news felt like an eternity, a relentless torment that gnawed at her soul. Mohalefa's wife, her face etched with worry, clung to the fading hope of her husband's safe return. The photograph she held was a lifeline, a tangible connection to the man she loved, now lost in the shadows. Every glance at his smiling face was a bittersweet reminder of happier times. He is a good man, a dedicated officer, a loving father. His children, too young to understand the gravity of the situation, asked for him daily, their innocent questions piercing through the heavy silence that had settled over their home. Why? Her question hung heavy in the air, unanswered, echoing the collective bewilderment of a community in mourning. The streets of Orange Farm were filled with hushed conversations and worried glances, each person grappling with their own fears and uncertainties. "We are treating this case with the utmost seriousness," assured Captain Chepo Mazibuko, the police spokesperson, his words a practiced dance between reassurance and the grim truth. The community listened, clinging to his every word, hoping for a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. "Our investigators are working tirelessly, following every lead, chasing every shadow. Each clue, no matter how small, was meticulously examined, every possibility explored. The weight of the case bore heavily on their shoulders, a constant reminder of the stakes involved. But behind the measured tone, a grim reality settled. The officers knew the odds, the challenges they faced, and the heartache of the family waiting for answers. Days turned into weeks, leads ran cold, and the fear in Orange Farm continued to fester. The once vibrant community now moved with a palpable sense of dread, each day a reminder of the uncertainty that loomed over them. The investigation tightened its grip, the invisible net of suspicion casting a wide shadow. No one was exempt, every connection scrutinized, every relationship examined. Whispers of Mohalefa's work at the correctional facility painted a picture of a man on the front lines of a silent war, a man who walked a tightrope between duty and danger every day. Had Mohalefa's work spilled over into his life outside the prison walls? Had he become entangled in a web spun from the very criminals he swore to keep behind bars? The police, tight-lipped, refused to speculate, but the seeds of doubt had been sown, and in the fertile ground of fear, they blossomed into 1,000 dark possibilities. He was a man of integrity, insisted Thabo Modise, a community leader and close friend of Mohalefa. He dedicated his life to upholding the law, to protecting our community. To even suggest he was involved in something sinister is an insult to his memory. His words, spoken with the fire of conviction, resonated with many. Yet, the whispers persisted, fueled by the desperation for answers, for someone to blame. The longer Mohalefa remained missing, the more the lines between truth and speculation blurred. The community, once united in grief, found itself fractured by suspicion, the invisible hand of fear prying open the cracks in their once unshakable bond. The disappearance of Mohalefa Kanye was not an isolated incident. It was a stark reminder of the vulnerability that plagued communities across South Africa. A vulnerability born from years of systemic neglect, a lack of resources, and the slow poison of fear that had seeped into the very fabric of their lives. The silence was deafening, the fear palpable. It hung heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket stifling their voices, their outrage, their demands for justice. The community, once a vibrant tapestry of life, was now held hostage by the invisible chains of fear. The price of silence, they were learning, was far greater than they could bear. Mohalefa's disappearance transcended the boundaries of Orange Farm. It sparked a national conversation, a collective holding of breath. Here was a man sworn to protect, a symbol of law and order, swallowed whole by the very chaos he dedicated his life to combating. The irony was not lost on anyone. If a man like Mohalefa, a man of the law, could vanish without a trace, what hope did ordinary citizens have? The incident chipped away at the already fragile trust between the people and those sworn to protect them. It laid bare the raw nerves of a nation grappling with its own demons. Section 8. A Nation on Edge. South Africa, a nation renowned for its resilience, its spirit of Ubuntu, found itself teetering on the precipice of fear. Mohalefa's story was not unique. It was a chilling echo of countless others lost in the labyrinth of unsolved cases. Each unanswered question, each unsolved disappearance chipped away at the nation's soul. The fear was contagious, spreading like wildfire through the veins of the nation. It manifested in the wary glances exchanged on crowded streets, in the bolted doors and barred windows, in the hushed conversations about safety and security. Section 9. Every life matters. Yet amidst the despair, a flicker of hope, a groundswell of anger, of frustration, of a refusal to be silenced any longer. Across the nation, voices rose in unison, demanding better, demanding justice, demanding that every life be valued, every disappearance investigated with the same zeal and urgency. Mohaleifa's disappearance was a stark reminder that behind the statistics, behind the headlines, were real lives lost, families shattered, communities ripped apart. It was a call to action, a plea for empathy, a reminder that every life mattered, every voice deserved to be heard. Section 10. Justice delayed is justice denied. The wheels of justice, often slow to turn, creaked under the weight of expectation. The community, weary of empty promises and false hope, demanded action. They would not let Mohaleifa's case fade into obscurity, another statistic in the long list of unsolved mysteries. Their demands were simple. Find Mohaleifa, bring his abductors to justice, restore their faith in the system that seemed determined to fail them. They knew that justice delayed was justice denied, and they would not be denied. Section 11. Break the silence, find Mohaleifa. Somewhere out there, someone knows what happened to Mohaleifa Kanye. Someone holds the key to unlocking the mystery of his disappearance. The weight of that knowledge, the burden of silence, must be unbearable. To those who know, who saw, who heard, your silence is complicit. Break free from the shackles of fear. Come forward, share what you know. Help bring Mohaleifa home. Help bring peace to his family. Help a community heal. Help a nation find its way out of the darkness. Break the silence. Find Mohaleifa.